Alright, tutorial 4. First down the list will be these two funky little fellas. STS, oops, and STE. What they do is, well, the text modifiers, so they go in text, and anything in between them will be displayed instantly. So if I do this, this will be displayed the moment the text box loads, which is really, really cool. But if you combine it with something else, it becomes even cooler. Watch this. Message, set wait mode. These two ints, which I'll just put 0 and 0, are the amount of frames the game waits before auto-advancing. The way you turn these off is you just do 32767, don't ask how I have that memorized, into both of these. I don't exactly know how these two differentiate, I just set them both to be the exact same, and it tends to work out. If you can see where I'm going with this, then congrats. If you don't blame yourself, it's a bit obscure. Let's set it to 0, just to start. And then we take this, copy, paste. And we change this to key wait, so the text box doesn't close. Get rid of that STS and STE, specifically in this one. And then get rid of all this. Now, let's go through the code I just wrote. This tells the game to auto-advance after 0 frames. So it displays up to here and stops. Then all of this displays instantly and then continues. So we can literally just change this portrait to whatever. It'll display up to here, auto-advance, display a new face, display all this instantly, and then continue. It's really, really cool, but we didn't tell the game to stop auto-advancing. So we do that here. 32767. And that's it. Let me show you. I really wish more people used this. It's really cool. Now, next down the list is menus. Now, what menus do, or rather how you use them, switch, bracket, message, switch menu. There's a difference between switch menu and switch menu 2. I'll get to that in a bit. And then 2 integers, or rather 2 variables. The first is a boolean. Do you allow the player to press B to cancel or no? 0 for no, 1 for yes. Let's put it on yes because it's a teaching moment later on. And then the next is where the cursor starts. Option 1, option 2, option 3, and so on. Close the other bracket, curly bracket, and then close it off. Now, case, option, and remember to put break here, kids. There we go. Now let's show you exactly what this does. Uh-oh. Everyone forgets stuff. Some people are just more forgetful than others. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, case menu. And now it works. Now, let's see what that does. There we go. Now, we can change this to, well, whatever we want. Also, if I press this, it does nothing. Because I didn't put anything in here. So, let's change it to give her your credit card. And let's have another case menu, which is just do not. And then, to account for me putting the 1 here, we put default, and then also break. Now, if you don't put breaks here, which you could want sometimes, it goes from whatever's in this menu to whatever's in this menu. It's basically labels, in a way, which I will touch on in a bit later in this tutorial. So let's write some dialogue here. Alright, got some amazingly creative and funny and unique dialogue here. But what do we do about this default? Well, I forgot to change these to close. Ignore that. Let's, please respond. Portrait sad. One way we could force the player to respond is a loop. But the other, better, and more simple way to get players to respond is with labels. Now, here's the funny thing. I actually don't know how to input the character for labels. So what I do is I just go to Union All, Control F for label, and then just copy this little doohickey right here, and then just paste it. This tells the game, hey, this is a label. Call it whatever the hell you want. It does not matter. And then, to go to that label, jump at, which is shift 2, label. I need mine PLS, so PLS, semicolon. Also, don't forget your semicolon here, please. Now, when the game hits a jump to a label, it will, well, jump to that label and then execute the exact same code. It doesn't matter how many times it's been done, it will do it again. What's cool about this is you can jump inside of an if statement that you otherwise couldn't access, like a debug. Labels are underutilized and for good reason. In cutscenes, there's not really much you want to do, but now let's cover the difference between switch menu and switch menu 2. Switch menu 2 takes a third input, a variable. You signal these with $signs, and they're all in all uppercase. Let's just do scenario. Here's how this works. If this is true, this option will display. If this option is true, this option will display. If both are true, both will display. If this one is not true, this one will not display, and this one will. It is really, really cool. You can have a third option. You can have a secret ending in your hack if you want, and this is how you would do it. Not an if variable whatever. It's so much easier to just use switch menu 2. And I just wish there were more places to use this, because it's a really cool difference. Alright, you know those freaking spin emotes you have on SkyTemple and Mystery Mail? Yeah, let's make one. S for spin. Let's do it now. It is way too simple to make these. It's just a loop. Now, in order to make a loop, we first need a forever. This is a loop that will execute forever. Now, in order to make SB spin, we need turn to direction. Now, this one takes 3 unknowns. 2 unknowns and a direction. Direction is dir, and then the direction of your choosing. To make S for speed, we want up, and then a later one that's upright. Not the other directions, and you'll see why in a minute. Now, this first variable is the amount of frames in between turning. So, it'll take her 3 frames to go from direction up to either upright or up left. There's a little pause. 0 means it's instant, and 1 means it's very close to instant. So let's keep it at 2. Now the second number is where funny stuff happens. There are typically 3 things you can set this to. 1, 2, and 10. 10 is the most common, and what you're going to want to use 90% of the time. 1, I believe, is clockwise. So SB will spin in a clockwise direction every single time. 2 is the same, but with counterclockwise. Meanwhile, 10, it goes to whichever one's closest. So if you're going from up to upright, you'll go clockwise, because it's closer. Only 2 rotations instead of, sorry, I can't math. So if she's guaranteed to spin clockwise, then we set it to 1 in both. She'll spin clockwise to upright, and then from upright, spin clockwise back to up, and then do that again and again and again. However, we're missing a crucial part. How does this loop stop? In order to stop code from executing again and again and again and again really, really quick and crashing the program, SkyTemple will not run this more than once. It'll detect that there's no way to break the loop and break itself on the spot, which is really, really cool in how they detect that. However, there is a loophole. If we have an if statement that never breaks the loop will not break. The loop will execute again and again and again. However, we don't want that. You want SB to do a little pose. So, if, and we need to learn variables more, event local, evnet event equals 1. And then the command for breaking loops is just break loop. For some reason, this code still won't run because there's no continue. ESL. If you look at any loop by the devs, I just see if there's one in Unional. Yeah, you'll see this comment that says maybe redundant. It's not redundant. It's necessary. You need to continue. So I'll just add this for consistency. The moment event local is equal to 1, the loop will break and her code will continue. So let's break it right here. Equals 1. We only want 1 equals sign because we're not comparing the two. We want to set event local to 1. And let's add a small weight here just to be safe. Oh yeah, one teensy tiny thing I forgot to mention about switch menu. There is a way you can have the dialogue and the menu up at the same time. You want to know how? Like that. But also, yep, you apparently need message close up here at the start of each and every one. Whoops. Event local equals 0. Simple as that. Anyways, I'll see you all when I decide to do those tutorials. But for now, take care.